And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Euromove Games is best known at this point in time for Battlegrounds Fantasy Warfare. But they've also put out a small game that some of you may have or may have not heard of in the Battle for Hill 88. And if you haven't tried it out, it's a very fast little game that when you play it, you're like, this is luck. Until you play someone who's good at it and they beat you every single time. Not saying this happened to me, but anyway. So they come out with another little game in the same series. I told them they should call this like 5-minute game series or something. It's called My Kind of Town, which is about mobsters and some theme, who cares. But in reality, it's a sharp little two-player game, which might take you 3 plays before you fully understand exactly what's going on, but the game only took 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the most. Let me show you, and maybe you'll catch it faster than I did. My Kind of Town comes with some asset cards and influence cards, but during the course of a game, you're only going to be using 4 asset cards and only 12 influence cards. And the designer told me that you can actually, play, multiple games if you have like 6 people because there's enough cards in the deck to do so. But let's look at just one game between 2 players. Alright, so we have these 4 asset cards which are placed between the 2 players, and you rotate them like this. Now, these are the cards that players are trying to win over the course of the game. The number on the card shows how many victory points it's worth, and players will be using influence cards. The influence cards are placed here next to the table. One of the cards is placed. This is the card that can be drawn and used. The other card is placed face up, so you know what card is coming next. So on my turn, I have 2 choices. I can take this card and play it either on my side or the opponent's side, or I can pass, which forces my opponent to play the card. I can pass to make sure I get this card. Of course, if you pass all the time, then you'll be playing a lot fewer cards than your opponent. When you take a card, you simply play it on one of the sides in front of you. On the different cards we played, sometimes you'll play a card on top of another card like this, and so on and so forth. And I'm just randomly playing here without even trying to do any kind of strategy, just to show you what an endgame setup might look like. Then after everyone has played cards, the last player to go, then it's the other player's turn, that player is going to pick one of these cards to score. Let's say, for example, they pick this card here to score. And I'm the player who picked it. So I will pick either the mobster here or the dames. So I pick dames. And that means we're going to use the dame symbols. I have 1, my opponent has 0, so I win this card. Then it's his turn to pick one. So he looks around and he has no symbols here, so he picks this one here. He picks the mobster, but that's unfortunate for him because he has 1 gun, while I have 3 guns, so I also win this card. Then it's my turn. I pick the money guy here, and there's 2 of them. We each have $1 on each side, so no one wins that card. And then he picks this one and he picks $, and so he wins this card. He can pick $, because neither one of us has these symbols on our side of the board, or the silhouettes. Alright, does that make any sense? Probably not. Basically, you want to have these silhouettes on your side because that allows you to pick one of the 3 different types. Either the power, dames, or money. The problem is, if you have none and they do have a type, you have to pick their type. So playing these types on your side gives you more control, but the cards with types in them usually don't have as many symbols. Also, if your top card is a victory point, then you will get that victory point added to your side. So you might want to put those on top just to get some more victory points. And there are even a few of the cards, which are more powerful than others, which are worth negative victory points. So the game is really kind of mind-bending because you're trying to get as many symbols of each type on your side, or at least as many symbols of one type, but then you want to make sure that's the type that's chosen when determining who wins that asset. And the cards usually don't match the type. See, for example, here we have the mobster who works with guns, but there are no guns in the card instead of just dames and money. So hopefully you have enough guns on the card already, or on your side already, to win that card. Like I said, it's a bit of a mind warper to play, but it's very simple. If you think about it, there's 12 cards between 2 players, and each of you is going to put out probably 6 cards, and then you have 2 choices out of the 4 assets to take. So you are making 8 decisions over the course of a game. It's very simple, and yet it seems, I played it, and then I played it, and I played it, and I played it again, and I'm still playing it, still trying to figure out the best way to play it. Alright, well, you probably are completely confused, maybe by my explanation, but the good things is you can go to Your Move Games website, and they have a computer version of this that you can download, that you can try out the game and see what you think of it. I like it. It's a 2-player game. It's certainly a quirky one, not one that I bring out all the time, but when you do bring it out, expect to play several games of it in a row. Theme is superfluous, of course, but the idea is just a bit wonky, trying to place cards so that they help you, but at the same time, a card never helps you as much as you want it to. It's an interesting idea, and I look forward to seeing more of these quick, fast games in the future.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.